podcast, and Paul just missed a little bit of terminal velocity, and that's an inside joke. Hello, everybody. It's your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, and 44-year-old promoter, and I do mean this with everything and every fiber of my farting and my beings. 44-year-old promoter extraordinaire, Zack. Reeb, bam, bam. What's up? You saw it, catch a glimpse, and I'm here once again with my podcast partner, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. Paul, welcome to the late night program. Yes.
What's up, man? It is, definitely a late one, especially for me. I'm gonna try to get up about 2 a.m. and go to work, get some stuff done, you know. So I was trying to think of what was the song that you just had playing with the clip of you dancing at our show?
Play that funky music,
oh, there it is.
White boy.
Oh man, I was fucking cracking up.
Oh man, that one got some engagement. The Instagram was really the gram. There was a lot of cramming in that gram of the Instagram going on over there. But that's the stuff I like. That's the stuff I like to see, man. Show us some shorts, some funny stuff. When Sergio made that, he put it in the group, and I know he was trying to, make fun of me. But what he doesn't realize is I thought it was hilarious, and I don't mind showing the old ass. You know what I mean? Literally and figuratively showing the old ass. Just, so many people messaged me, were like, dude, you dance like an old white guy. And I was like, well, I don't know, because I don't really know what old white guys dance like.
That's it. Well, it was reminiscent. I bet you could have played your old music out over the top of that, and it would have looked like you were doing the old gimmick, right? So
live plane. How many planes have been flown into the Bay Area wrestling scene over the last couple of years? Do I look straight in this thing? And no, I'm not talking about my sexual orientation. It looks like everything's straight up and down.
Oh yeah.
Because then these phones are a trip. They are a trip. I was listening to you were promo when we clicked in the CM Punk pipe bomb from Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I was just strolling through, man. You know how it is when you're just like.
I liked it. I like what they're doing. The thing is, they should be doing this. I heard something the other day where Cody Rhodes said it's going to be a sleeper. WrestleMania is going to be a sleeper this year. I'm like, WrestleMania should never, ever, ever be considered a sleeper. I hope it is, for the sake of the dog shit trash we've been seeing over the last. But I mean, it's PG, right? It's for the kids, so the kids aren't complaining about nothing. They're seeing superstars, they're happy. But it's like, I just calling it a sleeper, man. Like, hey, man, this WrestleMania is going to be a sleeper. It's going to surprise you this year. We don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's going to surprise you real good.
That's right, man. It's gonna give you some good vibes, right? It's gonna surprise you. You're going to get some surprises.
Some butthole goosebumps. I'm going to get some butthole goosebumps, my favorite.
Oh.
We were sitting at class tonight, and I was just working on like a footwork drill that required you to take 2 steps to run in the corner. And I said something today that I learned a long time ago, and it was, do you know why we take 2 steps before we run into a boot or a back elbow? Why we don't back up more than 2 steps before we do anything? And Bad News was standing there, and I said, here's why we don't do it, right? So I stood chest to chest with him, and I took 2 steps back, and I said, and we reached our arms out and we were touching each other. And I said, okay. And then I came back in and I went chest to chest and I took 3 steps back and we both reached our arm out and we couldn't touch each other. So everything in wrestling is 2 steps. If I'm in the corner and pull myself up and chop you, I'm taking a step back. I need to know the give and take of this stuff. So, everybody always talks about footwork and placement and where we're going and why we're going that way. It's like I'm taking those 2 steps after I get behind you with a whip, not one of these whips where they're like, just get over in the corner, pal. You know what to do. That's what I start calling that whip. You know what to do. Fuck showing the detail. You know what to do. So I'm charging 2 steps. I headlock the boot and put it where it needs to go. And I sell down the rope. I don't sell back into the center of the ring like a jabroni. I sell down the rope, and you're selling down the rope. You're showing your face to the crowd, and everybody it's like when you walk away, you want to walk back to the guy in the corner for him to turn you around. It's the same when you hit the rope. You don't want to turn around into the rope so that you're making eye contact. And you can't tell people that nowadays, the eye contact thing, peripheral vision, right? Sell this move for me and sell it down so that you can pull yourself up and the audience can see you building yourself. Because that's what the baby's doing, is he's building himself up. And the more and more that I start to watch the crap that I'm seeing out there, the more and more I start to watch this stuff I want to refer to as the crap, not the craft, but the crap. They have just completely bypassed what professional wrestling is, what a physical struggle is, how a man would, you know what I mean? Like when I'm wrestling when we're all fucking horse playing around in the locker room and stuff, and I go to move you or something like that, when I'm done, I'm like, whew, fuck that. Trying to push Big Paul back a couple steps for real in the locker room actually put a little fatigue on my body. But then you go out in the ring and you're like, I'm going to fucking whip this 7-foot guy off the rope. And you're like, well, I'm going to reverse you. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to let me shoot you from rope to rope. And then I'm going to hit you with a power slam or something. So, and that might be in a little exaggeration, but I mean, what is your thought on just today? We are just completely just bypassing anything that means anything in professional wrestling. We're bypassing it. Even these promos, man. And I'm not even talking about the CM Punk Roman Reigns promo. I'm just talking about all these promos. Guys are just going out there and trying to fucking zing each other, and there's just no context to anything. I don't believe 2 guys are about to fight. I just believe 2 guys are out there talking because they're fucking like, guess what? We're supposed to set up a match tonight, so you go stand across the ring from him and you guys talk to each other.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think for as far as that, you think about there's some key points you normally talk about when you're asking someone to cut a promo, and a lot of things have to do with like, you're not trying to bury the guy that you're talking about, because in most cases, if you do bury the guy, then if you beat that guy, who did you really beat, right? You're just you're talking about a guy who's insignificant. If you're trying to put him down and make him seem small and insignificant, then it's like, oh well, who did you beat? You think about different scenarios. Like I always think about like people are like, I'm big, and you expect if I was to get into a fight, I would beat someone up, right? Just because of the size difference. And I always talk about how that is. How that it's a lose-lose for me, right? It's like if you're in the situation where you are the over the top favorite to win, then when you win, you were supposed to win. But if you lose, then it's some sort of somebody it's an embarrassing loss, right? Because you weren't supposed to lose to that person. And I think you have that in a lot of different sports. But I think you can relate that directly to a promo. It's like, if you beat someone that you're supposed to beat because they're weaker than you, then it doesn't really mean much, right? If you talk about someone in a promo like they are an equal adversary, then you've got something, right? If you think, oh man, this is an uphill battle, I'm going to have to be on my my A game to beat this guy, then it's going to mean more that when you beat him, right? Because you talked him up and talked about his accolades and things like that. So I think burying a guy with the promo sometimes is hurts you just as much. You think I'm throwing out some zingers at this guy, but in reality, it's like you're beating somebody who's a nobody. But when you're talking about the whipping a guy, I thought you were going to be like the guys who like to whip a guy, and they go corner to corner and they stand 2 feet from the corner and they just throw the guy all the way across the ring.
I'm talking about that. I am 100% talking about that guy too.
Right. So it's just I don't know, man. I feel like when I'm teaching someone, I am almost the way that I explain it is you're escorting them, right? You're going to escort them a certain way amount across the ring, and then you're going to let them go. So it looks like you could realistically do that. I think the one where you're standing very close to the opposite corner and you're shooting them across, I would I put that towards the Vader style whip, right? Vader's a big, strong dude, and is not going to take the time and effort to get a guy halfway or 2/3 of the way across the ring before they let him go. He's just just like you said, what to do, right? What's coming, a splash in the corner or whatever it is, So, I thought you were going to say you only back up a couple steps because, in reality, if you have these guys who shoot a guy into a corner and then they back all the way up to the opposite corner, it's like, don't you think the guy's going to see you fucking running at him and counter it or get out of the way or something like that? I always think it's better, you escort the guy 2/3 of the way across on you and you're following him right behind. So as soon as he turns around and hits the buckle, you're already in his face, giving him whatever it is, So
the business,
you give him the stuff when he turns around, you give him the stuff.
Here's what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm gonna whip you out of the corner, but I'm not really gonna whip you. And I want you to run over 3/4 of the distance yourself and take a hard buckle. I'll fall on my face on one side of the ring, and you do the same. And then we will both do simultaneous worms towards each other. We'll pop up, unzip our zippers, and we'll sword fight to a urinating finish for the live studio audience. Yeah, I don't know anymore, and I try to critique and I try to help, but it just seems like you could literally tell somebody, "Hey, don't take the guy to that corner because there's 2 walls there. This corner back here is the good one because there's the audience all the way around you, so you can't miss even if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You can't miss. They're there. That corner number 3, at least there's an audience over there on your left side. Corner number 4, they're on your right side. But whatever you do, don't go to the corner that's facing the exit walls with the plugins." And what do these guys do? they take the guy over to the corner with the plugins and they start administering their heat. So now nobody can see it because you're standing in the way. And of course, the referee's probably going to run over there and go, "Hey, get off of them over there. 1, 2." It's like there's nothing funnier than an inexperienced referee when they're choking them or biting. Nobody even bites anybody anymore. You know why nobody bites anybody anymore? Because everyone's in the hand washing. You better wash your hands. Well, let me tell you guys a little secret about me. Maybe this will slow down some of the bookings at my old age. Ask Oliver John. I call it gummy bear fingers. I like to rub my hands all over my nuts before I show up at the venue and I shake all your hands. Let's see how many people really listen to the program from the lack of subscribers when they see me next time. If I go to another show, whether I'm being serious or not being serious, Paul, let's see how many people are like, "I'm not shaking your hand, dude. I heard that on the podcast," right? But we used to dig our fingers and fish hook people in the mouth. We used to bite them. We used to do all kinds of stuff. Like, I forgot who I saw oh, Manny. Manny, when he was wrestling Big Ugly, like had him on the ropes and had his fingers in his nose just pulling back on him. And I was like, that is heelish. That's what a bad guy would do. But nowadays it's like they're choking him and the ref's like, "Come on, man, quit choking him. 1, 2." And it's like, are you kidding me, man? Have a sense of urgency. He's literally doing something that could really make this guy pass out or kill him. You know what I mean? He's actually choking him. And the ref's like, "Come on, man, get him out of the corner. 1, 2." And it's just, there's so much that makes pro wrestling great, man, that makes it fun to watch and makes it so much different than anything else that we can do in the world. I always tell people, I'm like, this is live entertainment, Paul. We can't go pause, can't slow-mo, we can't rewind, we can't fast forward, we can't say, "All right, cut, let's do this again." And that's what was so shitty about the pandemic was like, "All right, cut. Hey, everybody be quiet so we can film this match with no noise. We can't have any noise in the background." I wouldn't want to wrestle a match. I mean, I get The Rock versus Mick Foley at the Super Bowl in the empty arena. That was a gimmick. But I would never want to wrestle a match, whether I'm filming it or not. I would never want to wrestle a match where a director was like, "Cut. Guys, keep it down in the background. We can't hear him calling the spots in the ring." Like, I saw someone call a spot today, a reversal, as the full-on whip was happening. I said, "Whoa." I said, "Do not ever call something like that in the action. Why would you call it in the action? You clearly had enough time to call it before the action happened. You could have said reversal. But you said it as you're heading towards the buckle. Like, what do you think this guy's going to do?" You know what we did today? We did a lot of stuff, but it was going into the backslide. You know, he got a left opposite arm to catch the backslide. And I kept telling everyone, I even showed them, like, it's a backslide, like loosey-goosey, you know, get him in there, but loosey-goosey, because you don't want to fucking fold him up like an accordion, man. Because the worst thing is when they do the backslide and they have you really hard and you fold up and you see some non-flexible guy and his legs just slowly teeter over till, you know how you like lay on your back and you throw your legs, try to get your legs over your head to touch the ground. And a lot of us can't do it, especially bigger guys or as we get older. And to watch the legs slowly teeter and touch and somebody go, "Oh, my neck." I'm like, I bet your fucking neck is just on fire right now. Because I bet your feet have never touched the ground over your head like that on a stretch in your life. And now you're doing it slow. Well, some guys got your fucking arms pinned too. You're like, ooh, ow, 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 ow.
Oh, that's great, man. That is the absolute best when somebody is not flexible and they're doing stuff like that. I was watching an amateur wrestling video like that. It was a girl that was like, she hooked a kid like that, and then she was like doing the whole pose, and then she hooks him all the way over, and the kid is just screaming in pain, and she's just like waiting for the referee to count for her. She's just like, I'm not letting him go until I've got the victory. I don't care how much this kid screams and yells and how much it hurts. It's just, oh, that's great stuff, man. And I just like how it's like it's almost in slow motion. The legs are that's great, man.
Wow, 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 wow. Yeah. It was like when Tim Thatcher caught me in that Kimura finish at the end. The referee didn't see it at all. The referee was on this side of his body, and I'm over here hemmed up like a fucking pretzel going. And then I had to yell, I'm tapping. And the ref was like, oh, yeah, you are tapping, by the way. And I'm like, fuck, man. I've been tapping for fucking 5 seconds.
Oh, you know.
Nothing.
You know, Malachi used to throw that fisherman suplex. I don't remember what it was, what the name, the deathplex or something like that. But I just remember him doing that in training to somebody, and the guy's knee hitting him right in his own face. Oh, it's like, oh,
a lazy person.
My knee hit my nose.
Yeah, that's my favorite. When the rope is right here, and the guy's like leaning his nose on the rope and being lazy, and then you just kick the rope on the opposite side of the ring, and it bam, and their nose starts bleeding, and they're like, oh. Like we've made a game of that. There's stuff in wrestling, like there's certain pinfalls and certain moves that you make a game out of it because you're like, oh, okay, well, guess what? Today is the first day of wrestling class. I've shown up at some classes before to just watch over the years, and they're like, all right, guys, it's the first day. We're gonna do progression drills. Okay, high school boy bump, and then the fucking trainer goes out there and jumps up fucking through the roof. And takes a high school boy bump, and they haven't even taught the guy to bump properly. It's his first fucking day, and then you're like drooling at the mouth because you see a whole fucking line of like 15 or 20 rookies. And I don't mean rookies like, hey guys, this guy's having his first match rookies. I mean, this is their first day. And they've done their forward rolls, shoulder rolls, handspring bumps, heel bumps, rope bumps, and then all of a sudden they're like, high school boy bumps, and you're like, ooh, yeah. How many earth-shattering concussions are we gonna like? You had 15 people lined up, 15 people, 15 concussions, man. You knocked all the bowling pins down. Good job. Good job.
And I know your favorite is you don't even tell them to tuck your chin. You just jump as high as you can and land on your back. Right? Don't tell them to tuck your chin. Don't tell them to breathe out. Don't give them any type of advice. Just jump as high as you can and land on your back.
I wasn't coaching them.
Oh, I understand that.
Spectator sport here, pal.
That's it, man.
You know, I heard I love this one today, man. This one, to me, this one's a funny one. This podcast, right? The potty pod. So they got the slap fighting. They got the guys running as fast as they can at each other and just smear the queer in each other is what we used to call it. But Red Rover, send little Bobby on over. Red Rover was the funniest one when we were younger. I wish the kids would play it nowadays. It's like you and some extra strong person would grab hands and you would look across the schoolyard and you'd be like, oh shit, look at Timmy. He's only $110. And you'd be like, Red Rover, send Timmy on over. And Timmy would be like, and try to run through your arms. And you guys would be like, good night, Timmy. And you'd be like, we're playing Smear the Queer. Who's it? And then you throw the football to the littlest guy in the place and everyone just tosses him up, just barrages.
Just dog piles the guy.
Oh man. Well, what were you talking about before that? Because I started talking about the game. So I'm on Instagram and I just happened to run by like my favorite porn star, right? Like my favorite porn star pops up on there. And she's going to a strip club. I was like listening to the interview, and the new thing nowadays is instead of the slap fight, it's the ass slapping competition. So I guess the girl is in the strip club and she gets in her little G-string and bends over, and guys come up and they just hit the ass as hard as they can. And if the girl turns around and is like, pussy, you know what I mean? They're like, all right, you're out. So I guess they're looking for the guy that hits the ass of the stripper or whatever hard enough that she can't take another hit. So it's only one shot, just like a slap. You get one shot. You're like, all right, man. Does she like to have her butt spanked, or am I just Eddie Hall, man? Eddie Hall coming in here. He's gonna hit this butt one time. It would be like I throw a pretty good chop. But after last weekend, when you hit me twice, I could imagine who would win if me and you lined up on that stripper ass smacking contest. I'd be like, I'd hit it as hard as I could, and she'd be like, "That's all you got? That's all you got, Daddy?" And then Paul, you'd come in and bust it wide open and knock her butt cheek clean off with the skin, and she'd be like, "Don't do it again." And like, Big Paul, combative competition.
You had me like crying laughing when you're talking about the series of events at the last show. It's like I got myself into a bad spot here. I thought the ring was open, and I thought I'd roll in there, and I set myself up. I was going to do a little bit of work in that match, and I ended up taking a fucking ass kicking. It's like, oh,
I did. I'm glad I did, though. I'm glad I put in some work, man, because I feel like as much heat as I got, I felt like it was good that I got in there and I took all that heat. I felt like it set the tone for where we were going after that. And sometimes that's your night, man. And that's the problem when we look out there at a lot of these guys. They don't get that it ain't about what you do. It's about how you do what you're doing with the audience. This is interactive. This is an interactive sport, and I will call it that, an interactive sport. We do not make our next move until we hear some participation from the audience. And if people can understand that, it's like, well, I'm going to do these moves. Well, I don't care what moves you do, man. I don't care what you do after you come back. I don't care what you do after the hot tag. Write up a good finish, I guess, but we just gotta start actually selling stuff like it would happen. Like, oh, I hit you with this forearm. Just shake your arm out. If the baby face gets up on you a little bit and you cut him off, hold on to him and sell what he just did to you, and then look at the audience and then look back at him like, you motherfucker. And it don't matter if you throw a suplex, a body slam, pinch his nipples, whatever you want to do after that. It's like, just show me that when I'm whipping you off the rope, your eyes are wide. And then when you're hitting the rope and you're coming back off that with the momentum to throw some offense, you're changing your facial expressions with the defensive and the offensive momentum. Oh shit, I'm being whipped. Oh shit, it's my turn to throw some offense. Oh, you fucking pop me in the face. Like, nobody has that anymore. Everybody's just so worried. What did I send you? I sent you Kenny Omega
Oh yeah,
and
no shit.
Pac. You remember that?
Yeah, it was just like big move after big move, and you're just like, it looks so phony and choreographed, but it looks so painful.
Yeah.
That was just, and I don't know, man. It's so crazy because, um, we're 130 episodes in, and I know everybody doesn't necessarily listen to this, but the same thing that we talk about since the very beginning is, uh, registering stuff, selling, all these different things, and it's you still like. I just had somebody send me a match recently. It's like they're trying to get booked, and it's always my favorite thing where somebody is they're trying to get booked, and you have to ask them questions that I think would be common sense. It's like, hey, if somebody's trying to get booked, you and I kind of differ on this a little bit, but for me, it's like I'm curious who trained this person, how long have you been wrestling, things like that. So I have kind of an idea of what I'm about to see, because I'm going to ask you to send me a match, right? I'm not just going to go, oh yeah, such and such, you drop someone's name that I know, and so I'm just going to book you off of that. I want to see your work rate, and and I guess for me, it's like what I would think would be common sense is if I'm going to send you a match, this is essentially my resume and my application to try to earn a job with you. And I'm going to send you the absolute best match I've got recently, right? And so many times I want to be like, hey, is this your best match? Is this the best that you've got? Like, did you send me, the match that's going to showcase you the absolute best? Because most of the time you watch it and you're going, how I am. I am very tempted to write up the, take the notepad out and start writing the critiques. I'm going to be taking notes. Yeah, I'm going to be taking notes on the entire match, and then I'm going to be like, well, here's what I thought. Like, I know you didn't send me this for a critique. You sent me this to try to get booked, but this is why I don't want to book you. These are the things I think that you did poorly. It's like, and it goes right back to kind of what you're saying. It's like there is no, you think not only to remind yourself that you were just getting your ass kicked, but also to remind the fans, right? Like, the reason I'm trying to, I'm firing back up at you is because you took a cheap shot and you hit me in the throat, or you threw a closed fist or whatever. And now it's my turn to be on offense. I'm going to be like, yeah, you hit me in the mouth. That's why I'm giving you this back. That's why I'm coming at you with a little bit more aggressiveness, and I'm turning the dial up a little bit. But it's just, we see it so much, and I feel like I talk about this exact formula. Hey, you give me 3, then I'll give you 3, right? And this particular match, it was like the guy's getting his ass kicked, and then he what I would think is some sort of like, a little hope spot, or where the fans are going to be like, oh, he's firing up or whatever, and he hits some sort of offense, and then all of a sudden now he's just on offense, and no, he's not selling anymore. And it's like, what happened, man? You were just getting your ass kicked for 5 minutes, and now it looks like you're fresh as a daisy. You're instead of your energy meter being at 25%, it's all the way back up to 95, just because you reversed an arm wringer or something, or it's just like, I don't understand the lack of selling, the lack of storytelling, and things like that. But
Game Genie.
Game Genie.
He was plugged into he had the game genie shoved up his ass. So
That's it.
All the cheat codes. He had the old power glove. Rocking, man. That I remember my parents bought me the power glove and it didn't work too well. Well, the problem, and that's it. You talk about that. You're sitting here, just like that match I was talking about. I said, man, I can tell many moments in that match why Pac broke his fucking leg was hanging off. I could see all the setups for it happening. I could also see why Kenny Omega had all those surgeries in that match as well. It's like all this fake cooperative stuff, and yet it looks so fucking painful. I was like, man, that is a lot of work to really hurt yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
If we do this right, we can make it look like a fight that the audience can follow along with and antagonize us and everything else. And it's like, you chose to do all this dangerous stuff that could kill you, to make no sense of it. One thing Sergio said to me was, we always call it shine, right? Everyone goes, the baby faces shine the heat out. Because Sergio said, hey man, thanks. He said, at the start of that match, you took all the heat from everybody. And it made me realize, yeah, I did. And we always refer to as the baby face taking the heat from the heel, right? But in this reference, he's right. I slid in the ring and I took the heat from Jeff. I took the heat from you. I took the heat from Illumide. I was because that was heat. I don't. What else would you call a 7-foot overhand chop that's left my chest busted open? That's going to be the fun one for me as we get deeper into this. And that's what I'm talking about too, is do you know how to work with the big guy? It's a skill. It's a craft. It's not easy. You can go out there and just get the dog shit beat out of you by a big guy, or you can actually work with the big guy. Because even though I took a couple chops from you that hurt, that were really painful, by the way. Yes, I wrestled around with you for a while, and you didn't bump me at all. Like, you could go around all these locker rooms. Like, can you wrestle a guy Paul Isadora's size and not bump? Can you get 10 minutes out of a Paul Isadora without taking a bump or him taking a bump? Now, Alex Ace, that's a different story, because Ace might just take you might be able to talk him into taking a couple bumps for you. You might be like, hey, I'm gonna choke slam you. You know what I mean? Who's what's the character on Hood Slam? It's I love him to death. He used to be Bobby Burger Hands, but I don't know who it is. I know him as Bobby Burger Hands.
Brutal Rob Hands.
Brutal Rob Hands. Nobody, and this is just a fact right here. Like, Bobby Burger Hands, and that was such a funny name. I remember when the Twins gave it to him. I was like, why do they call you Bobby Burger Hands? And he's like, because I got little tiny hands. And I was like, is it a little tiny burger? But I always loved the name Bobby Burger Hands. And Brutal Rob Hands, even though we know he's not Sid Vicious, why is this guy who's 5 foot nothing and 100 and fucking nothing pounds actually methodically and at that speed playing a big guy better than a fucking big guy. And this ain't a knock. This is the honest to God's truth. I'm like, Bobby Burger Hands, Brutal Rob could literally go up to someone like an Alex Ace or just a bigger guy in the business and say, hey, let me show you how to work like a big man. And he could do it. And it seems like I'm talking shit, but I'm not. That's the greatest. I love Bobby Burger Hands, man. I used to get in cars with him all the time, man. I think he was dating Kikio back in the day. And funny guy. But he plays that gimmick so well. And it's totally unbelievable. But in reality, it's so believable because he's into it. That's why it's believable. And that's why it's fun to watch that character do that, because he believes that he's that fucking big. And I believe he's that big too, bigger than a lot of other big guys, because I don't believe the big guy is a big guy. If you're 6'5" or 6'6" and up, 200, if you're south of or north of 280 pounds and up, and you're bumping all over the place and getting beat up by smaller guys, it's not a knock when I say, what the fuck is wrong with you, shithead? It's the truth. It's like, why are you bumping for this smaller guy? You know, that's the matchup I want to see. I want to see Ace versus Brutal Rob Hands. And I want Brutal Rob Hands to put it to Alex Ace and be like, no, I'm the big man here. But I mean, it's a craft, man. Like it's what we were talking with AJ and you about that time with the Jolly Giant and stuff. Like, here's a guy who really believes he's Sid Justice or Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, and he fucking does it perfect. Could you ask for a better, like, I get what they're doing. The shit's hilarious. But it doesn't dictate, it doesn't take away from the fact that he's actually doing a great job of playing that character. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great job of playing the character.
Exactly. That's, you know, we had talked about Dreamy Drew, right? The idea behind, if you could be Dreamy Drew and you could come out and you could portray, not tongue-in-cheek, not the crowd is in on it, anything like that, but if you could come out and you could be that character, right? You in your mind believe that you know, all the girls find you attractive. And if they didn't, you know, they're crazy. They don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with them if they don't find you extremely attractive. You know, and you come out there and you're, you know, dancing and things like that. And, you know, and you're calling the guys in the audience fat boy and stuff like that, right? Because you, in your mind, it's the shallow Hal thing, right? In your mind, you see yourself as Rick Rude, you know, that body. You know, you come out there and regardless of what you look like, in your mind, you look like Rick Rude, and you act accordingly, right? You come out there and it's, you know, you could redo all of the Rick Rude stuff, right? You know, telling the guys to, you know, the big fat guys in whatever Wisconsin, you know, shut your mouth and watch what a real man looks like, you know? So I don't know, man. It's crazy that Brutal Rob Hands does such a great job of playing a 6'9", you know, 290-pound man, and other people are not doing that, even though they're legitimately that big. So, yeah, but it's just one of those things, man. It's how convincing can you play a character? You know, can you play the character that you're wanting to play the way that you perceive it? And if you can put your mind to doing that, then that's when you're going to have that type of magic. But not everybody can do that.
That's what it is. It's magic. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's back in the day, there was Lay Emperor. Remember him?
Right.
When I first started, I was like, look at this old guy that's look at this short old guy that has spent too much time in the tanning booth. He needs to retire. And then you start hearing the crowd react to him. Even when I was young, I remember being young and going, what are they cheering for him for? I mean, what are they booing him for? This guy sucks. And then you get smarter in the business and you go, man, that guy was great because he didn't do shit.
Right.
We're like, he didn't even take a bump. I remember being like 21 or 22 going, this guy didn't even bump. I just dove over the top rope and did 40 huge bumps tonight, elicited a holy shit chant. And it's like, Zach, you dipshit. They were chanting holy shit because they can't believe that you almost sacrificed your life at Oaktown Wrestling at the Elks Lodge in front of 300 people. And then Lay Emperor's out there like, hey, they're waving my flag. Hey, get him off me. And they're like, boo. And I'm like, oh, God, that's cheap heat. And it's like, no, it wasn't. The guy was playing a character. He was really damn good at the character. I would always be like, why is Kirk White booking this guy? Oh, he's only booking him because he's from there or he sells some tickets. And it's like, no, he was booking him because he was a Sergio Santana heat fucking magnet. You know what I mean?
He's a draw. Everybody wants to come and watch him get his ass kicked.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say is, God, man, when we look back in the day, I remember him always saying, like, what was the match of the night? It was the Dudley Boys in Houston at the Astrodome in front of 80,000 versus Ed and Christian versus, and then I even heard Steve Austin say, he's like, that was the match right there. He's like, that was the match. You guys stole the show. And it's like, man, I guess so. It really was. I remember thinking it was too, but it's like, no, it was Austin and The Rock.
Right. Sold the house.
That put 80,000 in it.
Yeah, like Joey.
Yeah. Tear the house. Pack the house down. Jericho. Yeah. You know, I'm always skeptical of things. Like I didn't watch Elimination Chamber because we were at your show at the infamous Mel's Diner. And I remember looking up at the screen and the ESPN and they were recapping WWE. And I was like, oh man, this is why it's cool that WWE's on the ESPN Plus or whatever app because they recap it like it's fucking Sports Center now because that's what it's on. But I remember I was like, who's in the fucking crate, right? Like there's just been this crate on television for weeks and there was rumors. There was rumor mills in the dirt sheets with David Meltzer. That it was Chris Jericho. And I kept thinking, I'm like, man, this is stupid. Who the fuck, why would there be a human being in this crate they're sending all over the place? And then someone was like, somebody, maybe it was Nash or something we were eating, was like, it was Danhausen. And I was like, man, that's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? And then I saw he came out with all the girls. But then, like, I really thought about it. And then I saw his promo on Raw, which obviously he's going to do a lot of backstage skits and stuff, which is great. But then I saw what their purpose of using him for was. And then it made sense to me why he came out of the crate. Because that guy would come out of that crate. That guy in those, you know what I mean? Like, he would be in that crate. He curses people. He hears a jar full of my fucking teeth and stuff. It's like, I get it. I didn't get what was going on at first. And then when he came out, it was like, I was already beat to shit and tired. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Who cares about, we're eating right now. And but it made total sense to me. And I think the product looks like shit right now. And you hear Cody saying it's sleeper, but that's a lot of That's a lot of writing they have to do every week. And they don't have wrestlers writing this shit. They got girls and, that guys that went to college for like creative writing. Isn't that so funny? You're like, I'm going to run a wrestling company. And then some prick fan's messaging you on your messenger or on Instagram. And he's like, I think your stories are a little light right now. Maybe you should let me write your independent programming for you. And that's what's going on there. And you can tell that's what's going on there with a lot of this stuff is what do you know about wrestling? You might know something about creative writing, you know what I mean? But you don't know nothing about professional wrestling. If you've never been in the wrestling business and you went to school to creatively write or play the fucking flute, that it's not going to translate over to what the world of professional wrestling is. Not one bit. Here, you want to see me play the skin flute? Oh, man.
You never know, man. You never know what these... Because, I mean, didn't so many other guys come, from a creative writing type background? Like, were all these awesome writers back in the day, were they all wrestling fans, or were they, or did they come from some other industry, Like, I would constantly see people saying that they were advertising on the WWE website for writers, right? It's like, does that mean that you were a pro wrestler turned writer? I mean, I know that there was like Jimmy Jacobs and stuff, but what about the rest of these guys? Were these guys pro wrestler turned writer, or were they just, the booking events with the 9-inch LJN figures?
Just creatively writing. And that's what they're looking at too. They're going, so this guy is the guy that we want to be the guy. So this guy, he's getting over. LA Knight's getting over, and the fans want him to be the guy, but when we wrote the story, he wasn't the guy. There would be no Attitude Era. There would be no Stone Cold Steve Austin if that's what the creative writing was. If someone was like, well, technically the way we wrote the story was Jake the Snake Roberts wins the King of the Ring, and then he's clean off of drugs and he gets totally spiritual, and we're going to get the fans behind Jake because he turns life around. And you're like, yeah, but this bald-headed, blue-eyed guy with a goatee, they love him right now. They're loving him. And he's like, yeah, but we didn't creatively write that into the story. And you're like, this is not fucking this is Netflix, but this is not fucking Sons of Anarchy. Like, these are the only characters you have to choose from. That's a filmed show. Cheers is filmed in front of a live studio audience. No, it's not. The sound is. They're making ha 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 ha. That's how shows were back in the day. I would love Friends. I would love to see the wrestling character that's cutting his promo in front of a live studio audience. Wouldn't that be great? They're like, ladies and gentlemen, RWF is filmed in front of a live studio audience. And then the wrestler's talking. He goes, I'm going to get ya. And then you hear, oh, ha, 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 ha. That'd be the best character in the world.
The applause sign in the back.
Yeah. You know who could play that character? Fucking Bobby Burger Hands, Brutal Rob. I think that guy could probably play any character, and it would be you could tell him to be the Great Khali, man, and he would pull that shit off. You know what I mean? I mean, just
with the knees and everything, the knees flexing and the. I just like how you're like, you sent me the video and it's like, it looks like his legs are just about to break at any time, at any moment.
He couldn't wrestle in that little ring at Boomtown. 5 minutes have elapsed in this contest. Dickie Dakin came back today, and I thought it was crazy. We were all clapping for him because it was like, fuck, 3 months later after his leg just hanging and dangling. You know what I mean? And Sammy said the funniest line, the most fucked up funniest line. We're like, Dickie's looking good. I said, looking good, Dickie. And you hear Sammy go, for now.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a baseball slide joke.
No.
Dickie's in the ring. Hey, coach, are we going over baseball slides?
Sammy's not creative enough to say that, but he's creative enough to say an asshole line. You know what I mean? There's just some guys that just say asshole lines all day long. Everyone looks at him and goes, "Be nice to that guy. He's different," or "Be nice to that guy. He's and you're like, "No, he's not. He's an asshole." That's why I like him, because he's an asshole and he's always saying like terrible things to people, but you don't realize he's saying terrible things. It's like, that's the funniest part of pro wrestling, right? Like, if you were to go outside of the training facility or the wrestling building and do what a man does to a woman out there, you would just be you would get the cops called on you, you're domestic violence, you're a piece of shit. But then you step 1 foot into that building and do it, and they're like, he worked so hard with those ladies to get him over. You know what I mean? The handicap guy or the kid with Asperger's, just 1 foot outside the training door, and it's like, this guy, we're canceling him. He's the biggest piece of shit in the world. He beats up handicapped people. And then you step foot in the door of the training facility and kick his ass all over the place, and everyone goes, goddamn hero over here. You know what I mean? Deserves a medal for what he's doing for this young man in the community. It's hilarious to me. Perspective, right? It's how we look at it, and it's just funny to me.
Very much so, man. Man, it is getting late. I'm almost delirious at this point. Looking for the Z's. I know how you feel on a Sunday night now after a long wrestling weekend.
Yeah, delirium sets in. I think this. I'm in like a euphoric mode right now, man. Maple Gramps just purchased her first wrestling ring. I love it. You know what I love? I love reading like the screenshots and the articles and everything and all the comments from people that would message you, and they're like, "Oh man," like even when you said you told me, you're like, this is what I was going to pay for it, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm thinking in my head like, well, by the time you hooked up to that fucking trailer and drove all the way to Citrus Heights and drove all the way back, you would have been paying a little bit more than that for that thing.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
By the time Ugly got a U-Haul and paid for the 20-foot U-Haul and then paid for the gas that he had to pay for the mileage there and back, and then to fill it back up with gas being over $5 a gallon, he would have paid a little bit more than that. It's like somebody saying, I'm going to drive Manny said it to me today. It's like people say, I'm going to drive all the way across town because the gas is 5 cents cheaper. It's like, it ain't going to be 5 cents cheaper by the time you get back home, bud. You know?
That's exactly right.
I'm in a euphoric place, Paul. I'm in a euphoric place right now. I'm really loving life. I'm really loving wrestling and everything else. What's this red spot right here? It must have been where you hit me last show.
Oh, that was another good one. That first chop, you hit me in the face. I was like,
right here.
I'm not sure.
Right here.
Oh, Somehow it made the loudest chop sound on your chest.
Because your hand's so big.
I must have
Like
forced
this.
it through. That's it.
Well, Paul, it's been a goodie.
That's it,
We
man.
got it done. Get some sleep. I'm going to
Oh,
get
fun.
some sleep. For Zach Primetime Reeb and the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora. Subscribe. Subscribe.
Dude.
Say it 3 times. Maybe someone will subscribe.